Born and raised in Iran. I lived there 10 years. 6 weeks after Khomeini died, we escaped. We went to Germany at a refugee camp. I lived there for about a year and a half. Then I came to the States and moved to Glendale, California. Lived there for about 6 years. School wasn't really for me. I had a 1.8 GPA. I went to the Army, Fort Campbell, Kentucky, 101st Airborne. I got out. I wanted to be a bodybuilder. That was kind of my route. I was going to be a Middle Eastern Arnold, win a Mr. Olympia, go into Hollywood, marry Kennedy, wanted to be a governor. That was kind of like the vision. And then I met a girl named Janvier at Venice Beach who worked at Morgan Stanley Dean Witter. She introduced me to Morgan Stanley Dean Witter. I applied, got a job a day before 9/11 with Morgan Glendale, got my Series 766, 3126 life and health. That was my life. That's the direction I went. I went to Transamerica. I was there for 7.5 years and then started my own company October of 2009, PHP Agency, and we grew that from 66 agents to, we're putting an event here at the MGM Grand Arena. We're probably going to have 12 to 13,000 people here. We have 20,000 agents nationwide. So my money was made through insurance, financial services, investments, and then accidentally start a YouTube channel, turns into media, turns into a consulting company, and it is what it is today. I'm born in a very weird family. My mother's, they were communists. My dad, they were imperialists. And born and raised in Iran, you don't have a lot. When Dylan was asking me a question last week, he says, Dad, what was your dream when you were my age? I said, what's yours? He says, you know what mine is. Football, baseball, etc. I said, okay, cool. I said, when I was your age, at 8 years old, I had one dream. The dream was to come to America. That's all it was. I didn't have a dream of being a doctor. I didn't have a dream of being an engineer, realtor, purely come to America. Well, that dream became a reality when we came to the States. And then for the longest time with my life, I'm just going, women, bodybuilding, partying, military. It's great. That's my life. And then one day I get out and I'm partying and my dad has a heart attack and I go to the hospital. My dad is laying there at UCLA Medical Center in LA. And he's being mistreated in a way where they're not coming and servicing him. He's pressing a button. They're not coming for 20 minutes. I go out there and say, what are you guys doing? My dad's asking for help. Says, excuse me, who are you? I said, I'm his son. He says, call security. They kicked me out. And a lady said the most magical thing. She says, you have no say at how we treat your dad here. This is a government-paid hospital. You don't pay it here. Taxpayers are paying for this. It hit me. I said, okay, no problem. This is what it is. I went in the car. I sat in the car, my Ford Focus. I said, this will never happen again. So for me, it's changed. It was making my mom and dad proud. You make money. 2008, at this point, I got money in the bank. I'm in my late 20s. I'm doing good in the insurance business. I'm known. I'm not creating content. It's a very private, small industry I'm a part of. And suddenly I'm sitting there saying, okay, what's next? I called all my advisors. And I had meetings with them. These are all folks that are 30 years older than me. And I said, listen, I'm at a phase of my life where I'm very, my fuse is short. I got to figure out what I want to do next, but I don't know yet. What should I do? I want to commit to something for 20 years. And then I went and met George Will at Santa Monica, what's that hotel? Miramar Hotel, which you guys lived close to before. And I went and met with George Will and all these other guys that were there. And he says, why don't you go study why so many people come to America from other countries? Go study that and share that with the world for the rest of your life. I said, great, I left. And so the obsession came. Once that obsession came here, I said, this is what I'm going to be doing for the rest of my life. I was just wanting to make money. I hated being broke. It was a complete different perspective. 2008 was like, okay, you can actually compete in a marketplace and you can actually make some real money, but what's bigger than that? So that was a shift that I made.
Got it.
Sometimes on a way to a dream, you get lost and find a bigger one. You're a little bit lost right now. It's kind of where you are. Not that you're lost. Many people would love to have your life being lost right now, so there's got to be gratitude and perspective, but you expect more from yourself, and you feel like you can do more, you can contribute more, and you can go to a whole different level. I love operating businesses, okay? So, for example, I sit with my Goldman guy, and we just had a nice multi-nine-figure exit 4 weeks ago. So we're sitting there, and he's saying, so what do we want to do with this? We're talking to we're talking to all these guys on what to put a portion of the money in. And he said, and I said, so how much is this going to give? If we put $50 million here, what is this going to be in 10 years? And don't give me the best case scenario. Give me the worst case. He says that 50 could potentially be 100 million 10 years from now. Well, that doesn't excite me. I said, what's the best case? He said, maybe it's going to be 125 million. So he doesn't even tell me the 50 is going to be 300 million, like over-exaggerate. He's being very straight up. He's a very conservative guy. So I said, okay, cool. He says, Patrick, this is during dinner. He said the most amazing thing to me. He says, Pat, no matter what you put your money in with us, nothing you're doing right now in your life is going to make higher returns than whatever you operate. Look what he said. Whatever you operate, because operating, I know how to grow and scale a business. You know how to operate and grow this. This didn't go to where it did by pure luck. You have a system behind it. You're a data guy, you're a numbers guy, you're all that stuff, right? Sooner I found that I'm an operator, that's my game. I'm not a guy that's going to build a $17 billion real estate portfolio. That's not my game. I'm not a guy that's going to go out there and, be the next Bitcoin guy and talk. I'm a Maximil, I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
I'm an operator. I like starting businesses, building businesses. You got to take a piece of paper and write out for yourself what excites you, what are you very good at, and match those two. If what excites you matches what you're very good at, that's peaking.
Yeah.
If what I'm doing, I'm an expert at is this, but this excites me as well as this, that matches, I'm solid. But sometimes, like, I've taken 3 breaks creating content. 3 breaks creating content. One was at 20,000 subs. One was at 455. One was at 1.5, and one was at 3.2 that we took a break. We took those 3 breaks. And I think sometimes, just like Johnny Carson, Fallon, just like these guys got to take a break and just go away and say, hey, what are we going to do? Who's the next guest? What are we going to do with this part? What are we going to change up? Are we going to add something new to the show? The same thing's got to happen, because if the product becomes the same over and over again and you're not recreating with the times changing. So I have a guy comes up to me. I'm not going to mention his name, but you'll know who this guy is. We're having a conversation together, and he says, man, my YouTube channel went from 200,000 to 1.5 million subs in 12 months, and we were getting millions on top of millions of views. 25,000 people would stay live when I was doing any kind of thing, and I'm lucky if I get 50, 60, 80. I said, yeah. I said, can you pull up those videos that did very well? He pulls up the videos. I said, okay, 5G, masks, COVID. No one cares about those 3 today. Nobody does. And you still want to talk about 5G, masks, and COVID. Once you go into a certain box like that and you don't adapt quickly, you're gone.
Yeah.
So as content creators, we have to constantly recreate ourselves. I evolved on what I consumed. I evolved with what books I read. I evolved with how I wanted to spend my time. I evolved with who I wanted to be friends. I'm nonstop because I'm running 9 businesses today. And I'm doing podcasts, and I'm creating content for Vitamin when I get a chance to. And deals. I run an insurance company. I go into insurance business. I write a book called The Next Perfect Storm in 2011, 2012. Not recommending you read it. It's an insurance book. You're going to be bored out of your mind. But for the insurance space, it was a book that was written that did very well. And I talked about what was going on in the marketplace. This is why I started my own insurance company. In 2008, data came out saying the average insurance agent in America was a 56-year-old white male. Only 17% of agents were women. Only, okay? So I said, Ron Paul in 2004 raised $6 million in MySpace in 24 hours. Obama became a 2-term president with a 1-term senator. Who was he to become a president? But he did it through $5, $10, $15, $20 on Facebook. That meant anybody can run. The game has changed. And everybody was trying to get the Hispanic vote, okay? So when you come to the conference, you'll see one thing. We are 54% women and 51, 52% Hispanic. And the average agent is a 34-year-old. So the average agent in our company is a 34-year-old Hispanic female, an anomaly. Most of our company, if you're Hispanic, politically, you may disagree with me, okay? But the way we have created our values and principles in PHP is that you and I can have disagreements, but we can respect each other, have a conversation together. Matter of fact, I welcome it. We like it. We like a good discourse. We like a good debate. And have some people been able to consume the content and say, even though I disagree with this guy, I like the approach he takes, I'd like to go into business with him, yes. But to say there is no risk, I'd be naive saying that. 100% there's a risk. For me, my biggest strength is I'm extremely curious. I'm so curious. Like, I want to know. I want to know why they do what they do. I want to know why they set up certain things the way they do. I want to know why they made a decision that they made. Yesterday was a big day in America. You saw it all over the news what happened with the FBI. Why do they do that? I want to know why. What's the motive behind it? So the level of curiosity is what gets me in. But since I was a kid, I've been telling stories since I was a kid. The first company I ever incorporated was called The Story Builders. I love stories. I think stories move people. And, if that's a gift of telling stories, You know, that's my ability to be able to tell that story. I have to be in it, so I go into the story. I'm curious about the story, but yeah, I would say that's probably one of my strengths. I've made millions of dollars in my life, but 2019, I made more money than my entire life. 2020 made more money than my entire life, including 19. 2021 made more money than my entire life, including 2020. 2022 so far made more money than all of those years combined. What happened with these money they print and they throw in the market? It rolls up. Guys like me are like, print more if you want to, but It's not a good thing. You know, the right solution today for us to overcome the challenges we're facing, no one would win White House if they ran the right policies today. The right policies that America really needs would never win the election today. Never. It wouldn't be a popular policy. You need to run some shitty policies to convince people that you're going to give them something for free to win today. That's what's unfortunately attractive today. But if somebody got up and said, hey guys, let me tell you, here's what I'm running for. I'm going to make sure our military gets stronger in the area of cyber warfare and bio warfare. We're going to take our spending a little bit more on that side. We're going to do what we can with taxes. We're going to take some of these resources and try to pay off our debt. And the next 4 years, our goal is to get reduce some of our debt, and we all got to get to work. So you're not going to see me too much. We all have something we got to do. You got to pull your own little red wagon. I got to do the same, and let's bring America back to what it was before. Wait, what do you mean? I don't have any policies. We need to take some policies off the table. We need to get to work. You would never win with that. Mm-hmm. You know what? You would never win with that. So, you know, in regards to recession, you know, I think it's a great time. You know, you got to pay attention to what's happening with inventory. Christmas is something we look forward to, and we spend a lot of our resources for Christmas. It's very important. It's a time where we get together, and we can only be around people that we enjoy their companies for 4 or 5 days. I own a high-end Mickey Mantle card. I own some high-end basketball cards. I got some stuff. I got probably $6 to $8 million card collection today. I'm interested in the Rolls Royce that the Shah of Iran had. I'll buy that. And I'll put it in the museum and never drive it, because I'm going to look at it, because I remember I was 7 years old when I went to the museum and I saw that Rolls Royce, and I said, one day I'm going to buy a Rolls Royce. If I ever buy that Rolls Royce from his museum, I'm going to buy that, and I'm going to put it in my house, because there's a story behind it. I drive an F-150 Shelby 770 horsepower every day, and I got a $1 million Ferrari in my garage. I never drive it, and I'm in the market to sell it right now. So I don't drive it. I've driven a 5 or 10 SF90.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a nice one, and it's not comfortable for me. Majority of the money right now that I have is going to go in businesses that I'm going to operate or have influence over. That's what it's going to go to, okay? That's where the investments are going into right now. Okay. I sold one of my insurance companies shy of, you know, it's a multi 9-figure check that was sold to, and I owned 83% of it. And a lot of it was cash. So I have that. And I have a big chunk of stock in a company that's doing very, very well, and where it's at. So, you know, that's that part. So, you know, if you're asking net worth, you want to count paper or you want to count cash?
Let's do both.
If you want to do cash, cash is probably sitting on shy of 200 million of cash. I'm going to be universities. My aspirations are going to be different for the last 20-year run. This 20-year run is going to be business media. This is the 20-year run. The last 20-year run is going to be politics, sports, education. So could a lot of it go to a university that maybe we start later on in a format that I want to create? Maybe. But that's what the format will be. And preferably, I would like the kids to either be doing business together or to be doing business with us, but it'll be their choice. And there will be markers. Everything in our family is based on markers. My kids take jiu-jitsu. Every stripe they get $10. Every time they change the belt, they get $100. Every straight A they get $100. Every, you know, assignments they finish, everything has a scoring system for them, and they follow it on what to do. So their mindset is to earn. And the same thing's going to happen when later on they go to school and what they want to do with it. Do you want to buy a house? Do you want to start a business? If you do start a business, I would preferably have you not work with me for the first few years. I don't want you to work with me. I want to have a lot of contacts, and I want you to go work with one of my guys. I'm proud of the decisions that guy made. The 22-year-old Pat made. I'm very proud of him for what he did. I'm not where I'm at today because of what I did the last 12 months. I'm what I did today because of what that 23-year-old did, 22-year-old did, 25-year-old did. So I fear not reaching my capacity, and I fear not fulfilling the vision that I have in place. I read 2 books. One was called Hypomanic Edge, and the other one was called First Rate Madness. Why, some titles like Why the Crazy People Run the World Today, whatever it says about people's personality disorders. So for me in 2008, I'm so upset. I finally figured out that money doesn't drive me. It's got to be something more than money. It's got to be something that's a vision, correcting an injustice. That's my belly. There's fire in my belly constantly. I can't get rid of it. I've tried a lot because, believe me, life would be probably a lot more peaceful without it, because you can take time outs and kind of be a little bit more, but you have to be self-aware and know who you are, right? If you want to live a peaceful life, don't model after Jake Paul. Don't model after Connor or Trump or Tate or I don't know what other name you want to add to that list. Don't model after them, okay? Because if you can't handle hate, it's not for you.